morning. And welcome. I'm John Burlingham, Chairman of the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and I'd like to welcome you to today's breakfast. Please join me in the pledge to the flag.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And for everyone here this morning, it is great to see you. If you work from home or your schedule doesn't permit you to attend our breakfast meetings, the Chamber of Commerce will continue to live stream these important events on our Facebook page. Now let's check for some upcoming events. Our next meeting will take place Friday, December 10th, 7:30 a.m. here at the Wiltwick Golf Club. And this will be our annual holiday breakfast meeting. Our featured speaker will be SUNY New Paltz President Donald Christian. We welcome President Christian as he prepares to retire next June. He'll discuss the next steps for the college, some of the collective accomplishments during his presidency, and indicators of the high caliber of offerings to educate the next generation of citizens to thrive in a changing world. President Christian's purpose for the remainder of his tenure is to keep SUNY New Paltz moving ahead as a top-tier public institution and economic anchor for the region. Plan on joining us Friday, December 10th, 7:30 a.m. here at Wiltwick. Our sponsor next month is Rondout Savings Bank. With the holidays right around the corner, the Ulster Chamber is gearing up our Shop Small campaign. This year, our push is to get everyone to do their shopping locally, and while they're doing it, to have some fun too. While you're out shopping, look for these Shop Small and Win Big signs. Everybody should have seen it when they came in, and it's on your table, posted throughout the region. To be eligible to win some great prizes, head on over to any Ulster Chamber business and take a selfie or a photo of that business displaying the Shop Small sign. Check in to that business from your Facebook page. Include hashtag UCChamber2021 in your post, and be sure to make that post public. Between now and December 19th, create as many Facebook posts as you'd like. The more the better. Each week for the next 4 weeks, we'll select one post at random and award a $100 prize package, which includes a $50 gift certificate to the Emerson Resort and Spa and a $50 gift certificate to Bach to Tottenham in Uptown Kingston. Then on December 20th, we'll choose one grand prize winner of $500 from Ulster Savings Bank. No purchase is necessary. Good luck to everyone, and remember to shop small and win big this holiday season. Finally, the Ulster Chamber will be resuming our very popular networking mixers after the first of the year. And as we've done for the past number of years, we'll be at Mac Fitness in the Kingston Plaza. Plan on joining us from 5 to 7 p.m. Wednesday, January 19th, 2022, for some great complimentary refreshments and the chance to reestablish old relationships and establish new ones. Our sponsor for this event is the Bank of Greene County. We will limit the number of attendees and, of course, continue to follow CDC and Health Department guidance. Again, that's Wednesday, January 19th, 5 to 7 p.m. at Mac Fitness in the Kingston Plaza. And now, with the rest of our program this morning, here's Ward Todd.
Good morning. Any first timers here? First time out in public at an event in a couple of months? Feels good, right?
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. It really is good. Did you notice during the pledge this group was standing especially tall and proud over here too? Thank you guys. And their appearance here is no accident. We actually invited them to be part of this event today along with our county executive. They were part of an effort to upgrade the Honor Guard, which you may or may not be aware. This is the group of men that show up at veterans' funerals, and they're on call all the time. And their uniforms are getting kind of ragged and needed replacement. So thanks to the county exec and the great friends from Kingston Veterans Association, they raised some monies, and we've got a number of local businesses that contributed here today that we want to recognize. So I wanted to begin by introducing one of our proudest veterans right here, Ulster County Executive Pat Ryan. Pat?
Good morning. Good morning, man. Everybody's really feeling chipper this morning. My son woke up at 4:30, so I already spent this afternoon. It's really great to be with everybody, especially to just take a moment and thank and recognize we're almost a week after Veterans Day, and I'm excited to hear from Jay, who was, I won't say how many years ahead of me at West Point.
One or two.
But I just want to share with you all something that happened in the background in the midst of the pandemic that I think we should all be very proud of, and we want to recognize the businesses across Ulster County that stepped up. As Ward said, many of you see and take for granted our honor guard that show up not only to funerals for veterans that passed, but at a whole host of events and ceremonies and parades, really reminding us, not just on Veterans Day, but every single day of the year, the obligation that we have to recognize and honor those that raised their right hand and took the oath to serve our country. And Mr. Forte, Bill Forte from Kingston Veterans Association reached out about, it was maybe a little 6 months ago or so, and said, hey, can we get together and raise funds so that our honor guard can look sharp and have new uniforms. And of course, the first person I called was Ward Todd, like many of us do. And Ward instantly said yes. And what can we do and how quickly can we do it? So we ended up raising $15,000 very quickly to and the uniforms look sharp, I gotta say. The World War II era uniforms that you'll see in a moment. So I want to, if you'll come up, sir, invite up Bill Forte, who leads the Kingston Veterans Association. We just want to individually recognize, it was about 20 or so businesses, I believe, who stepped up. And I just want to thank you all. I know for me, one of my most fond but also intense memories is when my grandfather passed away, who was a World War II veteran, Navy veteran, Purple Heart recipient, and he was prouder than I think he could put into words of his military service. And so to have the honor guard there, I know for me was very special and meant a lot, and for my family, and certainly for his wife and for him looking down. And you think about the effect of that across hundreds of veterans in our community every day. I just want to thank you all for the service that you do, and of course thank the businesses that supported this. So I'll turn it over to you, sir. Thank you.
As he said, I'm Bill Forte. I'm the chairman of the Kingston Veterans Association. I'm not the president. I'm not the commander. I'm just a facilitator at the meetings. That way the blame doesn't fall on me. I'm very careful about that. Our honor guard has been doing funerals for longer than I can remember. The captain of our honor guard, Stan Chandler, just stand quickly, say hello. Stan has been in the honor guard for more than 45 years. Many of our members have been in for a long time. As of late, we've gotten low on our numbers. We do funerals in Veterans Day, Memorial Day, appearances in schools. We number about 100 of them a year. So everybody's a volunteer. Frequently we've done 2, and just recently we did 3 funerals in one day. So we get pretty active. The uniforms we were wearing, the Army, we were supplying them. We had to purchase them, but West Point being the nearest installation, we got them there. Well, the Army changed uniforms. They're in the process of switching over now. We could not get replacement parts for the old uniform, so we had to go with a new one. And without your help, this wouldn't have been possible. The uniforms are not cheap. We had estimated them at about $750 a piece. Then we found out that the Army would not do the alterations because we were not active duty. That added about another $100 per uniform. But through your generosity, it's happened. And I can't thank you enough, because what we do, we don't do out of an obligation to anybody other than ourselves and those people that are being laid to rest. This is the right thing to do. They were our comrades, either standing next to us or in service. And as the county executive just said, they all raised their hand. They swore to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. Didn't matter if they were National Guard, reserves, man, woman, Chinese, Japanese, black, white. Every one of them raised their hand, and they're deserving of our support, and when they're laid to rest, of our respect. I know when I go out there, I'm doing it because I owe a debt to them that in my lifetime I'll never be able to repay. So thank you all very much for that. I have some certificates here. It's a small token of appreciation to those that had donated for the uniforms. And as I call out the organization or individual, I'll have my bearded assistant try to meet you halfway with them. The certificates read, Kingston Veterans Association Certificate of Appreciation to whoever, for patriotism and support of local veterans, their families, and our community. And that's by helping us with the uniforms, that's what you've done. First one we have is Simpson Hammerl Funeral Home. All right, what says bring you all up here? Take a picture. She'll hand it to me when she gets here. Gilpatrick Van Vliet Funeral Home. Best Western. Next Boutique. Dedrick's Pharmacy of New Paltz. Frank Guido Family Restaurants. Yeah, he's cooking. Frank's always cooking. Well, I'm going to enjoy taking that to him personally. Ulster Savings Bank. Gene Maxwell. Marshall and Sterling. Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union. Ryan and Ryan Insurance. Hudson Valley Center for Veteran Reintegration. Kingston Kiwanis. Kaiser Funeral and Cremation Service. Acar and Son Funeral Home. Rondout Savings Bank. Ulster Savings Bank. Henry J. Brook Funeral Service. 156th Field Artillery Veterans Association. Ulster County Chamber of Commerce. And I have one last presentation. Kingston Veterans Association commendation to Ward Todd. For your dedication and commitment to our veterans, their families, and our community. Your patriotism and love of country has been noted and appreciated by all.
Okay. Can you guys all come into the center for those uniforms right here? And if everyone can angle in, like angle. Everybody proud. We got a generous community here. My job is harder. I bring that up. Yeah, you guys can all come in line. You can just kind of fill in that. Lord, you're in your certificate. All right. Okay. The people at home watching us on live, they don't know what's happening in this room. All right, let's get a few more. I think we're good.
I neglected to mention, and forgive me, I just wanted to call your attention to our Director of Veteran Services in Ulster County, Mark Hudson. Mark, can you just raise your hand? Although he's an Air Force guy, I like him otherwise. He and our team serve 13,000 veterans and their families in Ulster County. And veterans, I think certainly my generation after the Afghanistan withdrawal are at a really tough moment right now, to be candid. And so if you know veterans or have veterans in your family that need help or support, that is literally what our organization exists to do. Rides to appointments, calls, just someone to talk to that cares and gets what they're going through. So please seek out Mark if you're in that situation or you just want to get plugged into the work we're doing to support vets in Ulster County. And again, thank you, Mark, and our team for everything that you do.
I don't know. Do you all get asked sometimes when you go outside a region like, why is Ulster County so special? And can you use this morning as an example of why we really are so great? Thank you, all of you, for all you've done, and also obviously for your support of the business community and keeping our local economy going strong. It is also kind of a little bit of a bittersweet morning for us today as we share with you the news that we're losing one of Ulster County's real treasures. Oh yeah. She became executive director of the Ulster County United Way just before IBM closed. Probably not the best timing on her part, but she has really flourished since then. And we want to say thank you to her this morning and congratulations on her retirement coming up in a few months. She's been here in Ulster County for almost 30 years. She and her staff have been able to raise more than $30 million for local human service agencies and special projects. And we are really, really, really going to miss her. So nice round of applause, if you would, for our very own Stacy Ryan. Stacy, stand up.
Hold on.
Yeah, another reason why we've been so special. And the great thing, United Way Board, they really believe in that whole concept of keep it local, right? So they appointed, as Stacy's successor, Sue Marcy, who will be moving up in June. So we're still with us today. Oh, there, she's back there in the seat. Congratulations, Sue, and thank you again, Stacy, for everything. We are so happy that we have some new members since we last met, and we'd love to have Jess Davis, our Director of Membership, come forward and introduce them to you. Jess, if you would.
Good morning, everyone. What a way to start Friday morning. So I get the hurry up and make it quick and sweet, but our members and our new members are the most important part of our chamber. So it's great to see that we're growing, and I have a great list as usual. We welcomed Al's Smoke and Barbecue Sauce, Al Skirmahorn, local. You can find it in Adams, 6 flavors. We welcomed Boughton Place, Joyanne Savino. It's a conference center and a community space. They offer for training sessions, performances, and other events that support their mission. Cresco Labs is another business that we welcomed, and they are a medical cannabis operator with facilities in Huntington, Hartford, and Brooklyn, and obviously they are checking out Ulster County, so pretty exciting. The Divine Agency, and we have DJ Curtis, the president there, but Jeff Smith is here today. They provide insurance, and Jeff, if you could just come up and just a quick minute, introduce yourself and say hello to everyone.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeff Smith. I represent Divine Insurance. Thank you. We're located in New Paltz. We're an independent insurance agency. We can handle all your commercial, all your personal insurance needs. We pride ourselves on our customer service. So stop in and see us. I have a ton of cards. I have 500 cards to hand out. So anybody wants to take a couple and pass them along, we can give you a free quote. If you've been in insurance for your insurance for a while and want to feel around and see if you can get it better somewhere else, we can help you out. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We warmly welcome you, Jeff. We also welcomed High Falls Food Co-op. Lucy Georgieff is the general manager there, and they're a retail food co-op in High Falls. They also they specialize in local, natural, organic, and grab-and-go lunch now. There's a lot of people in this room I did not get to see yet today. I'm proud to welcome Home Sweet Hudson, and Ray and Vanessa, are you here with us today? I did not get to see them. They were hoping to make it. Okay, so they are a real estate property management company dealing with privately owned Airbnbs. Wonderful couple. We're so proud to welcome them. They're out of Modena. Next, we'll welcome Hope Rocks, and Joe DeFino could not be with us this morning. Not-for-profit dedicated to enlighten, educate, empower individuals and community facing addiction, depression, and social isolation. Really important work. So we welcome Hope Rocks. We also welcome, I love that I can go from that type of a member to Lucy's Grooming Parlor. And we just were there for a ribbon cutting in the village of Saugerties. Every service is customized to your pet's needs. So dog and cat grooming. And just down the road on Partition Street, we welcomed Ohana Cafe in Saugerties. Amy Marone is the owner there, and it's a cafe featuring sweet and savory crepes. She also spent many years in Hawaii, and she brought back that flair to the Ohana Cafe, so check it out. We do have another new member with us this morning, and I'm almost through the list. Her name is Enrique Colburn, and if you were at the expo, chances are you had some of her absolutely delicious cake. One and only cakes. Enrica, just come up for 1 minute. She doesn't love a crowd, so everybody just smile.
Good morning. Good morning. This crowd's a little bit bigger than last time. Hi everyone, my name is Enrique Colburn. I'm a Kingston native. I graduated from Johnson & Wales University with a Bacon and Patriarchs degree. I'm a pastry chef. I own One and Only Cakes. Started it in 2013 in the basement of my mom's home. Now I have my own commercial kitchen. I don't have a brick and mortar at this time, but I do have my own kitchen down by the Ulster County Community Action Center. So you could come by, pick up, I deliver. And I specialize in wedding cakes, event cakes, baby showers, everything like that. But I'm not limited to cakes, pies, tarts, anything sweet to your desire. And if you want something sweet tonight, my pop-up is open from 6 to 10. So just hit me up on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.
That's important information, 6 to 10 at 70 Lindsley. And each time I call her up, I hope the crowd's bigger, right? We also welcomed Point of Praise, which is a church that offers bi-weekly church dinners, and they're now offering catering in the community. So very excited to welcome Point of Praise. We all know the Child's Family. We also welcomed RMK Educational Services. Robin Miller is the owner there, board certified behavior analyst and consultant. And this is some news for today. We welcomed Rosie, and has anyone heard of Rosie? No. Okay, that's because they're not open yet. They are the old Skilly Pot location down on Lower Broadway on the Strand. It is siblings, the Sasso siblings, and they're opening a vintage throwback Italian bakery specialty shop. They're going to have some convenience store items. A huge project. They've been working on it through most of the pandemic, and they're getting very close to fruition. So you heard it here first. It's called Rosie, and it's a bakery too. Cannot wait. Saugertail's Pet Supply. We were back in Saugerties again for a ribbon cutting. And Amy Robina is the owner there, a woman-owned business, and she's got just about everything that you need for all of your furry friends. We also have another announcement. Sleep and Spas will be opening in Kingston. The grand opening ribbon cutting will be in December, and we welcome Jim Morse with Sleep and Spas. And last but not least, the Hudson House Distillery. We were there for a grand opening just a few weeks ago with the county, with the state. Thank you to Lisa Berger for helping us plan that. And it's a stunning venue, a distillery that was once a monastery. And if you haven't been yet, you should go. They have spa bites and little bites. And they're also heading into phase 2, which is going to have a hospitality component where they have overnight guests. One last one is Miller and Kahn. I'm not sure if Scott Miller was able to make it. Scott, if you could come on up for just a quick moment. Sometimes people don't know that they can come until the day before, so we are always happy to add on to our list. Good morning, Scott.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Miller. My wife and I opened law offices in Kingston on Front Street, so we handle a lot of business needs, transactions, real estate, any sort of business litigation. Happy to be here, and thanks for inviting me.
We warmly welcome you. Okay, I know that you're all here to hear Jay speak today, and you're going to be so motivated. What a way to start this sunny Friday and head into this weekend, into the holidays week. But I have one deliverable for all of you. My bank days are coming back. One deliverable today. We are at a chamber member location, and it is shop small and win big time. So, you have to take a picture. Who has a camera here? Who has a phone? You have to take a picture. I don't care if it's a selfie. I don't care if it's of your plate. I don't care if it's of the sign. You've got to take a picture today. You've got to check into here, make that post public, and the hashtag UC Chamber 2021. That is your job. Mo Gibbons is going to be in the parking lot verifying on the way out, and I am not responsible for anything she says out there.
She's such a tough act to follow, isn't she? Thanks, Jess, very much, and thanks to all of our new members. I'm just delighted that you've made a wonderful business decision to be part of the Chamber of Commerce. We do a couple giveaways. Before we get to our speaker, we love giving door prizes anytime you want to donate stuff or plan to give it away. And we've got birthdays, and wow, this became a mess down here. We recognize our volunteers and our chamber members celebrating birthdays at or about now. And so let's see, in the month of November, Val Walsh, our office manager. Had a birthday last week. November 17th, Tim Hayes from Central Hudson. November 18th, Michael Paisano from Adams. So And we've got dinner for two at Mariners Harbor, thanks to Sal Guido, to someone in our audience celebrating a birthday in this wonderful month. And the winner is Jonathan Grant from Parrots for Peace, November 17th. Congratulations. Lori, you want to do this? We also have lube oil and filter from our friends at Bagel Motors. We have some cards. Congratulations to Alicia Halam from Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union. You get a nice oil change. Lucky lady. Another lube oil and filter from Bagel Motors, and that will go to D&J HVAC. Congratulations. There you go, George. Let's see, I don't know. Is there any interest in a bottle of wine from JK's in the Kingston Plaza? Maybe. Linda Engler from Alfondre Architecture. Congratulations to you. We have a gift certificate from Next Boutique, and the winner of that will be Sue Marcy from I have a gift certificate to Spa Bites at the Emerson Resort and Spa in beautiful Mount Trumper, New York, worth $25. Linda Schofield, we're going to mail that to you. Congratulations, Linda. Kingston Fine Jewelry has a gift card also.
$25.
And it goes to Tyler West from RBT. Congratulations. And a gift card from our friends at Kenco on Route 28. And I need one more card. Congratulations to Elizabeth Strine from Gateway, Hudson Valley. Nice. All right, congratulations. That's good. Wait a minute. I need two more cards. Two more cards! Jay, what's wrong with me? I'm asleep with the switch. I have Jay's books, Return to Your Core, Principles for a Purposeful and Respected Life. Two lucky folks in our audience today, and we will congratulate them right here. Susan Dallies from Rondout Savings Bank, and Enrique Colburn, one and only Kate. Congratulations to both of you as well. All right, sorry about that. I want to thank and really appreciate all that they do for our local region. Our sponsor this morning is Health Alliance Hospital, a member of WMC Health. Their mission to ensure the highest quality care for each patient at Health Alliance Hospital drives every management decision made by their organization. Progressing forward with its transformation plan to consolidate from 2 hospitals to 1 in Kingston. Their construction is on track for opening next year, and very exciting on Mary's Avenue. Many areas of the soon-to-be-open new hospital, such as the emergency department, the critical care units, and the new family birthplace, are now fully framed and getting ready to accept advanced technologies sourced via WMC Health's landmark agreement with Philips. So when the Mary's Avenue Enhancement Project is complete, all Kingston-based hospital services will transfer to Mary's Avenue campus. Current Broadway campus will then transform into a health village with outpatient services and options for Ulster County and our surrounding area. If you'd like a tour of the new hospital, speak to one of the reps today from Health Alliance and they will take you on a tour. We had one about a month ago and it's just amazing. Additional exciting news, Health Alliance has opened Ulster County's only advanced service cardiac catheterization laboratory. Located on the Broadway campus, the new lab offers emergent and preventive solutions for blocked arteries, irregular heartbeats, coronary heart disease, services never before available here in Ulster County. The service operates under the direction of WMC Health's Comprehensive Heart and Vascular Institute, and for many community members, it is now the closest option for emergent and diagnostic health care. Dr. Shaw and Dr. Lader are both with us today from WMC Health's Heart and Vascular Institute. We thank you for being here. In addition, WMC Health Women's Health Institute now offers women's health services in Kingston and in Margaretville. Services there include obstetrics, gynecology, urogynecology, and female pelvic medicine and reconstructive surgery under the direction of Dr. Ashanda St. John. This time we'd like to introduce the Executive Director and Chief Medical Officer of Health Alliance of the Hudson Valley. And continuing the military theme this morning, he is a proud 1988 graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point and a retired United States Army Colonel. Please welcome Dr. Michael Doyle. Michael.
Very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for being here today. Thank you for the support for our veterans at the community shows. It's great to be part of such a fantastic organization such as the Ulster Chamber of Commerce and this phenomenal community. I do want to direct your attention to the cards on the table, and these just recognize an organization that Ulster County supports, Soldier On Incorporation, which supports Patriots Project, and it's an emergency housing facility here in Ulster County. Our homeless veteran population, is a significant issue for our country, and anything we can do to support them and support all our veterans, I just encourage you to do. So thank you all very much, and word back to you.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for the giveaways, great mask for everybody, and this is not for your car registration, right? This is for your Vax card. What a clever idea. So take one for your significant other or friends. We've got a bunch of them. Our guest speaker today, who was born right here in the wonderful city of Kingston, New York, is a professional speaker, trainer, consultant, and for nearly 3 decades has provided his expertise in the areas of personal and professional core value development, leadership, and communication training. He's spoken to organizations, associations, and schools across North America, Europe, Australia, and Asia. He received his Bachelor of Science degree from the United States Military Academy at West Point with a concentration in nuclear physics. We are so blessed, are we not, to have such great leaders, and look where so many of them have gotten their training right here in our backyard. He's a former qualified airborne, Ranger military commander, as well as a sales professional, corporate manager, and entrepreneur, and he is a great friend of ours. Please welcome our good friend, Jay Rifenbary. Jay?
Mike, what a pleasure to be here with all of you. I'm home. I am home with all of you. There's a lot of spirits roaming around the room right now. I grew up right behind the 11th green. Dad was the first president of the club when I was probably 4 years old. Mom, she was very involved with the club. She was the matriarch of the pool, and to say the least. And they dedicated the pool to my mother and father. I think it was 2010 or 11, right before Mom passed away. Dad unfortunately passed away when I was only 11. Pat, I mentioned to you, was 1 or 2 years ahead of you. Pat could be my son. So there you go. Tried 24 years. Earlier, I graduated, and so it's a real honor to be here with all of you. I'm humbled. And what a beautiful time to recognize our veterans, because we said the Pledge of Allegiance before. I hope we're still able to do that decades from now. We've all been through some trying times between the pandemic, politically, economically, socially. So for the next 45 minutes or so, here's an opportunity to love one another, to be human with one another, to celebrate our difference. Difference is not bad. Just to acknowledge the fact that we are here to serve and serve one another. And most importantly, this morning's an opportunity to take a deep breath and reflect, reboot, renew, re-energize, and really take an examination of what you stand for and believe in. As a leader, as a parent, as a community leader, as a father, as a mother, as a professional. Most people aren't taking too much time to reflect on the values that drive their character, what they stand for, and what they believe in. You have a lot of people out there who are basing their self-worth and value on how many likes they got on Facebook. Really? We continue down that path? That's a slow, socially slippery path. They had a National Selfie Day not too long ago. Are you kidding me? Talk about a little cause for a rise of narcissistic mindset. But on a very positive note, Thanksgiving's around the corner, and there's 2 values that certainly went up on the rung of my ladder. last year. It was gratitude and being present. And the first takeaway I'll share with all of you, how many of you are parents? Okay, thank you. And for my grandparents and parents in this room, first takeaway is this: when you're there with them, be there. When you're there with them, be there. I was there, I was coaching, I was doing those things, but folks, too many times I wasn't there. And when you realize you only have 17 summers with your children, I will share with you, many of us in this room, and now at the age of 65, know how fast 17 years can go. And I don't want you to lose those precious moments. By the way, I didn't introduce all of you to my lovely wife of almost 41 years. Nobody's here. So she deserves all these medals that all these veterans win. But been really a wonderful support and loyal individual. Without her, I wouldn't be in front of you today. I wouldn't be in front of you today if I didn't lose my father at 11. I believe that with all my heart. I've always believed there's a bigger picture behind everything we go through. And you have two types of people out there, folks. You see them every day. When the curveball's thrown, that first person doesn't even have the courage to step up to the plate and take the at-bat. And they'll go cower in a corner, they'll whine, blame, complain, find some excuse to justify why they're miserable, why they're going to be disrespectful, why they have to do their job, why they have to take care of the children they bring into this world. And then you have the other type of person, which I have no doubt all of you are, you wouldn't be here. That when the curveball's thrown our way, we may strike out or hit it over the fence, but at least we have the guts to step up to the plate and take the at-bat. If I asked all of you to reflect on your life just a small bit, tell me it hasn't been some of the biggest challenges, obstacles, failures, and when you persevere through them, it gave us an idea of what we're capable of achieving. If this morning's all about character, how do I find out what my character is about if it's not tested? And I don't like going through challenging times any more than anybody else does. But I know how we look at life, what we deal with each and every day, the losses that we survive through, the challenges we persevere, give us an idea of what we're capable of achieving. What values are truly, truly important to us as we go through life. You have a little handout in front of you. And I just want to, it's not something we have to go step by step, but it is a very, very nice reference. And for those watching at home, I'm just sharing with you those first 4 principles on that handout: core values, accountability, personal honesty, and integrity. That is the blueprint for character. I would have given anything while I was at West Point for someone to share those 4 principles with me. And they're all interdependent of one another. It's a blueprint. Take this home, share it with your children, your grandchildren. It's a wonderful way, and I'll go through this, just develop this character. The personal honesty piece is life-changing. Personal honesty will explain why we make the decisions we make and what influences our decisions as we mature and grow. Personally dishonest people are the people who project one thing and live another. So for example, if I'm projecting to the world I'm an honorable man, yet behind the scenes I'm living a dishonorable life, there's no way on God's green earth I can be happy because I'm living an internal lie. And that is why there's no direct correlation, direct now, between money, things, wealth, fame, power, and happiness. Because if there were a direct correlation, and I like nice things, we all do, but if there were a direct correlation between all the stuff out there and happiness, we could take a little field trip to the wealthiest places of the greater Ulster County area, and then when all the people have the most stuff, be the best example of happiness and fulfillment. Well, why are the people out there that you know of all kinds of stuff that are absolutely miserable? And there's people out there who don't have all that much and seem to be pretty content and at peace with themselves. And I like nice things, but I've learned, certainly now at this stage in my life, at the end of the day, what I drive, what I wear, what I live in doesn't define my character. What defines my character is how I treat all of you today. How I treat that homeless person. How I treat someone who doesn't look or believe quite like I do. How I treat my wife after a week on the road, which I failed at way too many times. How I treat my own children. I have a feeling that's a little bit better indicator of my character than what I own. And if I'm wrong, please tell me. I don't believe anybody in this room remembers someone who had a positive, enduring impact on your life because of what they had. It was always the content of their character, what they gave more than what they took. And the fact that they believed enough in you to share part of their heart, mind, and soul to make you a better person. Why do we remember our mentors, our role models, our teachers, our coaches? It had nothing to do with stuff. And here's the second takeaway. It's the fact that they believed that you could be more than who you are today. What a wonderful gift to recognize that all of us in this room have the ability every day to do just that. What a gift. What a wonderful reason to wake up. that just based on our behavior, our attitude, our values, that we have the ability every day to instill in others that they can be more than who they are today. That's the reason to wake up. That idea of servant leadership. That idea of being in service of others. My questions for life, I will introduce those two. That's my most fun little portion, defining success and purpose. Let's just give you a little overview of what we're going to do. You know, one of the things that we're going to hit on right now are core values. And from a business perspective, I'm only going to spend just a very brief period of time here. But my business leaders in this room, if I asked you why our structured set of values is such a critical component to a healthy organization, I have a feeling many of you would realize how important they are, that they're more than just fluffy words on the wall. They're the heart and soul of the company. And the true test of understanding if your culture is alive and living is if I ask you this question: am I, as a leader, are we as a team communicating effectively what we stand for and believe in as an organization? And if there's any gaps there, take the steps necessary to fill those gaps. Because of all the times I've been out there in the 30 years of training and speaking and that type of thing, I have never seen a greater need for people feeling and wanting that they're coming to work for something greater than themselves. They want to feel part of something. And in the midst of unsureness and anxiety, it is absolutely critical to make sure we communicate effectively as leaders what we stand for, what we believe in, what we believe is important and reflective of the organization. I've also never seen such a yearning for an increase in leaders being vulnerable. And vulnerable in a good way. Vulnerable in a good way. And why is vulnerability such a critical component of effective leadership? It's because what? Yeah, it unites us. We're all in this thing called life together, right? And it's one of those things where when we open up a little bit, we share our heart, we share our soul, we let our walls down a little bit, then those we lead are more willing to do what? Let their walls down. And so the first thing being vulnerable does, and I'm not saying we gush out everything we're about to complete strangers. I'm not saying we use our vulnerabilities as excuses for our weaknesses. But when times are tough, when there's anxiety, there's unsureness, when we allow ourselves to be a little bit vulnerable, it opens the door of communication, because more people are then willing to talk. And if we increase a greater level of communication among those we lead, what happens? The end result is a greater level of trust. I call it my triple crown of leadership, and it's on the handout, but I'd like you just to remember this. It's a wonderful formula to maintain a level of humanness in the workplace, and that is vulnerability plus humility plus transparency equals authenticity. And once again, I've never seen a period in our country where young people are yearning for authentic leadership. They want strength, they want courage, they want structure. Will they push back? Yes, but they're yearning for it. And we as leaders in this room, if we don't know what we stand for and believe in from a value perspective, then we can't create that sense of strength and purpose and resiliency and perseverance in how we lead, how we manage, and how we parent. So I'd really like you to take to heart that idea of core values for the organization, making sure that everybody's on the same sheet of music, making sure that when it comes to leadership that we allow our walls down a little bit to enhance a little greater level of vulnerability, communication, and trust. And notice how those three are interdependent. When we're vulnerable, we're more likely to display a level of humility. When we're humble, we're more likely to be transparent. And I can put those words in any order, and they allow us to be more authentic as leaders. Interesting thing, I like everybody remember this. You know, people come into your life, and many of you have heard this little phrase. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I want you to be open up to that idea. A few years back, last time I was with the chamber, I was going through a little bit of a difficult time. Okay? And some of you may recall. Okay? But a person came into our life from Kansas City when I was speaking out there. It just introduced me to the idea of going to a marriage retreat. And we did. And it was life-changing. And the last day of that retreat, we were more solid than we've ever been in our entire marriage. But the real revelation of that little encounter I had, we hadn't had at the retreat. I'm just being very vulnerable with you here. It's the fact that the end of that retreat was the first time in my life, my entire life, where I had not felt alone. And you can call it the stars, you can call it spirit, you can call it God. As I was reflecting not feeling this emptiness anymore. I always use the analogy of an avocado. It's like cutting in half, you take the pit out. That was your speaker for as long as I can remember. Didn't matter how many seminars I did, how many mountains I climbed, how much recognition I got, there was always something missing. But at the end of that retreat, it wasn't missing. And as I was reflecting on that hole, I figured out what I was missing is I can remember watching Dad being lowered in the ground at the age of 11. Thinking to myself, I'm losing the one person I felt worthy of being loved by. And at the end of that retreat, I knew I was loved. And here's the third takeaway, or the fourth takeaway. I want everyone in this room to know you're loved. Thanksgiving's next week. You are loved. And there's people who love you. There's people who respect you. There's people who look up to you. And we owe it to those people who see us in that light to make sure we take the high road. Why? Because there's people counting on us. And that's the beauty of who we are in this room each and every day. So core values, as far as an organization, here's a trip for you. Let's move on. Thanksgiving's next week. When was the last time you sat around the dinner table and asked your own children, what do you think the core values of our family might be? I can share with all of you, I received more notes, phone calls, text messages from individuals and executives who just said thanks. I never really thought about it. I assume the kids know, but I never thought about really formally asking them. Next week, ask them. It is a wonderful, wonderful exercise. What has held us together through all these years? What are the core values of the family? It'll be validating, rewarding, and a very, very, very special conversation. And I'll give you two examples of this that was really kind of just hit me. I was in Houston, Texas. I had two presentations for two executive groups. It was facilitated by what they call a chair. So it was the second day with this chair's second group. I mentioned family core values. He stops me, he goes, Jay, I just want you to hold off for a minute. Can I share with my members what happened last night? I said, sure. He proceeded to share that he has a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old daughter. And he wanted to try this out. So he assumed the 9-year-old knew what a value was. But he wasn't sure if his 5-year-old knew. So he went up to his 5-year-old daughter and said, do you know what I mean by a value? And she goes, Daddy is proud of value. And he goes to her, what do you mean by that? And she goes, well, Daddy, every day I wake up and I try to do things to make you proud of me. How do you put a price tag on that? So not only was it heartwarming for Dad to hear his little daughter say that, but it gave Dad some insight. That his little daughter grows up, as wonderful it is to make Daddy proud, it's probably just as important, if not more important, to instill in her to do things to make her self-proud. It's just a thought. The other example, I had a UK tour. So I spoke in England, Ireland, and Scotland. So the first night there, I'm in England. I'm at this really quaint B&B in Berkshire, England. I mean, the sun was out. It was just like a little fairyland. It was gorgeous. So I'm having dinner in the back in the gardens, and everybody's looking at me. I guess they know I'm not from there. I don't know why. But one family couldn't take their eyes off of me. It was a Gallagher family, I come to find out, okay, after they waved me over to their table. And I like socializing, so of course I went over, sat down. They're just grilling me. It was the parents, the grandparents, the uncle, and the two kids, like 16, 14. And they're grilling me. Who are you? Where are you from? Why are you here? And they're going on and on. Well, they began to take an interest in why I was there, and to a point where I finally asked the parents, I said, do you mind if I ask your children a question? And they go, no. I said, so to the two kids, I said, so what do you think the core values of the Gallagher family are? Well, the parents' jaws just dropped. They weren't prepared for that. And without any hesitation, the daughter goes loyalty and accountability. The son goes resiliency and fun. And all I said was, would you mind sharing with your parents, your grandparents, and your uncle some experiences growing up where you felt those values were instilled in you? How cool is that? And they just went on for the next 30 minutes from what I can recall, just sharing and validating experiences where they learned some of those values. So a nice little opportunity next week to do just that. So let me ask you this question. When was the last time you as an individual, and for those who are watching, took some quiet time and asked yourself, what are 3 or 4 values that I believe define my character? Is it your creativity? Is it your humility? Is it your compassion? When the curveball is thrown your way, what's your backstop? It's It's like core values in an organization are like the guardrails on the road that keep us moving forward, that keep us on the road. Personal core values keep us on the road, right? When was the last time you took some time and actually assessed that? When the curveball's thrown, what don't I veer from? Is it your honesty, your integrity, your compassion, your passion, your humility? What drives you every day? What's the foundation for your character? And that's where those values come into play. Mine are courage, and I define courage as doing the uncomfortable, resiliency, transparency, and loyalty. Happens to align with our family core values and Noni's core values. When was the last time you sat with your significant other and asked how we doing? Where do we see ourselves 3 to 5 years from now? We still on the same page? I wish I had done that more often. In the throes of traveling and being all I can be. But see, traveling and being all you can be sometimes steers you away from recognizing really what's important in life. Because at the end of the day, I've never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take it with you. And what do we want to leave behind? And I'll hit a little bit more on that when we come to questions for life. So as an individual, values, taking a moment in time. I'd really like it, if it was a workshop setting, I'd really have everybody do that. And then we'd share. For my executives in the room and my leaders in the room, take that exercise back to the organization. Sit with your team and have them actually sit and what I call write down their core 4. Write down 3 or 4 values they believe define their character. And then share them. And the beautiful thing of that, yeah, they're going to have to be a little vulnerable. But look what we learn. Look what we learn about those we lead and those we manage and those we love when we actually have that conversation regarding the core values for the individual, for the family, for the organization. Last little thing I'll mention before I move to accountability is look what's right here, folks. Core values for the chamber. I was sitting there going, bam, this gives identity to the chamber. That these are important: relevance, diversity, knowledge, leadership, and service. And there's definitions there. Because if we don't define the values that we use to lead people, then those values are left to interpretation. And the last thing we want to do is leave a value like integrity up to interpretation. So if we're going to lead and we're going to talk about values, make sure they're defined. Make sure they are received in a way where people can comprehend. So values go way beyond just some fluffy words on the wall. They weave through every, and I think one of the reasons why you see some duress out there and some anxiety is because it's not focused on. People aren't thinking values, they're thinking about other priorities that align more with technology than maybe a sense of faith and morality and substance of character. Accountability. See, without values, because the bottom line, without values, how do I hold myself, others accountable? Without values, it's like going to a little chicken farm, you cut their heads off and they're just running around. Gossiping, pointing fingers, whining, blaming, because there's no parameters to hold people accountable by. And that's why values are critically important. And the wonderful thing about accountability is at the end of the day, every success principle falls back down to personal accountability. Think about this. How many people you know who walk around negative 24/7 hold themselves accountable for the aftermath of their negativity? No one. You ever seen someone come into the organization like this? Not another day. I can't take it anymore. My wife's right, I'm going to give them a bad deck of cards. How many people are going to come up to that person and go, hey, great to see you? And the person fails to realize each and every day they're coming in, it's their choice to be miserable. You don't understand what I've been through. Again, we've all had our stuff. Any of you from a perfectly functional family? Nobody. I know some of you. You're not, I'm not. So celebrate that. We're all a little kind of nutty. Right? Celebrate your idiosyncrasies, your nuances, your frailties. I mean, I can look back. Pete Schultz right here, best friend of mine, last night, he knew I was coming down. It was a stimulus for him. Oh, we got a few people together from high school. We did, Early Mountain Inn. Right? So we had about 15 folks show up. It was wonderful. A little diverse group of all different groups that we associated with. And to me, that was just such a highlight last night. I felt home again. And the wonderful thing about that is that I haven't seen some of these people in decades, and it's like we never left each other. You know, I had a good friend, Bill Chapin. I was the president of the choir, not because I sang well, but because I had the biggest parties. So Billy Chapin, who played basketball back in the day, he brought that up last night. He thought that was one of the funniest, greatest parties we ever had. My point is, we're all in this together, and that's the beautiful thing. And that is really, when it comes to just having and taking ownership and attitude and being optimistic and positive. How many people lack integrity, i.e. are unethical, and hold themselves accountable for lying, for cheating, for being unethical? No, they'll find the excuse to justify. How many people are personally dishonest, project one thing, live another, and hold themselves accountable for living an internal lie? Follow me on this one. How many people you know use yesterday to justify why they're miserable today? And hold themselves accountable for their present situation? As I am sharing my message with you this morning, I want everyone to realize there are literally people waking up right now hoping for a better past. They're hoping for a better yesterday. I can't change 10 minutes ago. How am I going to change 10 years ago? But look at how many people are focused on what should have been, might have been, could have been, instead of what could be. And directing energy towards something that's destructive and negative instead of directing it towards something that's constructive and positive. My mind works like this, because I go off in tangents. Yeah, how much fun is it to be nice? Nothing. Costs us nothing. And yet, I shared with you earlier on, we can instill in others that they can be more than who they are today just by being nice, sharing a compliment, being encouraging. And I travel a lot. I'm traveling more again a little bit. I'm going to slow down though. It's not healthy. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Okay? But, you know, it's fun sometimes just to come to a hotel, right? And you see the receptionist. And just know they're having a bad day. Right? And all it takes is a little kind word, and boom, you can make their whole day a little bit more worthwhile. How many people lack professionalism and hold themselves accountable for losing it? Here's my definition of professionalism. It also should be on that handout. Emotional patience. My definition of profession. Look how this relates to core values. If I don't know my personal core four, when I'm under stress and pressure, I'm more likely to become emotionally impatient. So the better handle I have on my values, the better I can handle some of the stressors that we all encounter on a daily basis. Emotional patience. When we're under stress and under pressure, how patient are we with our emotions? How many people lack goals and hold themselves accountable for having nothing to look forward to? I know people who wake up and hate what they do. Why wake up? Look, I live in Saratoga Springs. I don't live too far from state government. I know people who wake up, hate what they do, and they're living for retirement, and they have 29 years to go. What do these people say to themselves? When I'm 82, I'll take up kite surfing, enjoy Lake George? What? No, I don't think so. And then just to end this little segment here, isn't it interesting with everything we've been through? I mentioned before, different is not bad. But isn't it amazing? And this hits every corner of the frame. Isn't it interesting that people who are the most racist, discriminate, and the most bigoted also tend to be the people in society who hold themselves the least accountable? They're always the first ones to whine, blame, and complain when their life's such a wreck, so they turn around, they trash another human being, they look or believe differently than they do to uplift themselves. And in my 65 years of life, when I see another human being trash another human being, I learn just to take a step back unless I'm threatened. Because there's always a measure of own insecurity. Oh, you know, there's bullies in schools do exactly the same thing. Bullies in general do exactly the same thing. They perceive someone to be physically, emotionally weaker than they are. Every time they bully, it's more of an indication of their own insecurity in the person they're trashing. Fascinating to watch. That idea of maturity, look how that relates to values. If I don't have a handle on my values, I need to find another way to prove to people that I'm tough. What? Personal honesty. Let me hit on this. I wish we had all day together, and I know we don't. But I wouldn't have given anything what I'm about to share with you when I was 30, 35, 40, just to hear a very abridged version of personal honesty. Why do we make the decisions we make? Major crossroads. Everybody go back in time. Major crossroads in your life. What inspired you to turn left instead of right, or right instead of left? Example. What if you decide to go to that school versus that school? What if you took that job versus that job? What if you moved there instead of here? What if you linked up with that person versus that person? Would we all be together today? I don't know. But what was the catalyst for you to make some of those turns? How do you go from nuclear physics, West Point, to something like this? Silver Patron. I do like Silver Patron, but I have to be careful. Anyway, but think about that. What? So it starts when we're young, and this is why this is so valuable. This will prove why there's no direct correlation between all this stuff and happiness. And I'm just going to do an abridged version like I just shared, but I want to hit this home. The foundation for why we make the decisions we make starts when we're very young. And there's two primary things that influence our decision-making process. Those two things are needs and fears. Human beings naturally go towards what they perceive they need, and they move away from what they fear. Makes sense, of course. Let's say something hypothetically happens to me early on in life as a result of an experience that I have. I feel less than other people, less than my friends, less than my peers, maybe even depending on the socioeconomic environment I grew up in, maybe I feel less than other people in society. And let's say as a result of feeling less than other people, the experience is conscious, the aftermath is subconscious. Let's say as a result of the conscious experience of feeling less than other people, I subconsciously develop a need to be appreciated. Might that impact how I make decisions? You bet, because I'll start making decisions in order to get what? Appreciation. What if I go through my whole life never understanding that? What if the need for appreciation as I go through my life becomes so powerful that I violate the very values I believe in order to get the appreciation? Wow, money, wealth, fame, power, happiness, we'll get there. Let's say something happens to me early on in life, I lose someone very close to me, I share with you that I did. That hurt a lot, and it hurt so much, I don't think I ever want to get that close to another human being again. Why? Because I never want to go through that pain, that hurt, that agony, that sense of abandonment. So let's say as a result of the conscious experience of losing someone close to me, I now subconsciously develop a fear of intimacy. Gee, might that impact my decision-making in regard to relationships growing up? Oh my goodness, I love you, Lynn, but don't cross this line. Because if I sense I may lose you, or you may get hurt or ill, I'm probably not going to become compassionate, empathetic, or sympathetic. I actually may become defensive and angry because Lynn's crossing the line where I made up my mind a long time ago, I'm never going down that path again. Whoa. Now, these things aren't bad. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for our collective needs and fears in our lives. Right? But most people aren't aware of that. That's why I have millennials who come up to me after this and go, oh my goodness, I never knew what pushed and pulled me. And the need for appreciation and the fear of intimacy, those are just two examples of a need and a fear. Just replace intimacy with failure, since I just mentioned that. Tell me you don't know people who go to any extreme. Well, they'll violate every value they have in order to quote-unquote succeed. Well, they may have another vote, but I'll guarantee you they're not happy if they violate the very essence of who they are. So what happens, these needs and fears that we're working so hard to satisfy and move away from, they create a little world. And that world is the way we want the world to be and the way we want the world to view us as being. We're working so hard. And then there's another little world that's the essence of you. And I know this is a little touchy, but what's the essence of you? Everybody go back when you're 6, 7, 8, just for fun. Visualize yourself in the kitchen, busting through the back door of the house, running through the yard, meeting up with friends, get into a little mischief, hop on the bike, head to the ballpark, play some ball, get into some more mischief, climb a tree, pick a flower, chase a squirrel. Guess what? You're still there. The beauty of that innocence and you is still there. What a wonderful, youthful mindset to have. That wonderment of you is still there. Well, what if the way we want the world to be and the way we want the world to view us as being, what if it's not a reflection, at least on some level, of that genuine, intimate self and trueness of that essence? Well, then we're not in alignment. And now we have issues, we don't recognize that. So I'm just going to give you one example of this. Okay? One example, and then I'll go to my questions for life. How might this interfere with our happiness? I think the best way to illustrate this is to use me as an example. And if you can't relate to this on some level when I'm done, please come and tell me afterwards. How might needs and fears interfere with a sense of alignment, contentment, and harmony? After Dad passed, I was in St. Joseph's, okay? 7th grade. I passed 7th grade after Dad had passed. However, Mom and her wisdom, and I'll never regret it. But at the time, certainly, it created a challenge. She moved me to the public school since she thought it was emotionally challenging years. She moved me to Valley and had me repeat the 7th grade. I can still vividly remember at the bottom of Flower Hill, stepping on the school bus, humiliated in my mind, subconsciously, getting to the school, getting to Valley, seeing more friends, teachers I knew through my parents. I immediately perceived that everybody thought I was what? Stupid, repeater, loser. Might give you a hint of why I took nuclear physics. So let's say as a result of that great experience, I developed that need to be appreciated because apparently I'm stupid. Might it impact my decision-making process? Yeah, I think so. Apparently I'm not very bright. How can I get some appreciation? Class clown? Be a disruptor? That'll get noticed. Apparently the brain's not intact, but the body's in decent shape. Go the sport route. All-American swimmer? Bam. It's important to be popular, so I got to run for this class, that, captain that, because that gets noticed. As the years go by, I don't think I'm as stupid as people perceive I am. I think it's time to prove to people I'm what? Smart. Find a school that's difficult to get into. West Point, slam dunk. Nuclear physics, there's your answer. You think I took that because I liked it? No. When you get through that, I got to be pretty bright. Who jumps on a perfectly good aircraft? Right? It's nuts. It's absolute insanity, right? I'm highly decorated officer, #1 in the country in sales when I was in the medical field. 30 years ago, being an entrepreneur. Wow, getting into public speaking, create no excuse, author a few books. Can't get much of a better venue than that to prove to people you're smart. Travel the world, and now here I am, Mr. Inspirational Speaker. So let's hypothetically say I speak to 1,000 people. At the end of the program, everybody comes up and goes, wow, you're terrific, really appreciate you, and I'm going, what? Yes. Because I have worked my whole life in order to get what? I should be on top of the world, right? Accolades, kudos, signed books. So now I fly back to Albany International. It's a joke. So, I do love the airport, though. I'll tell you, it's so convenient. Really, it doesn't go anywhere, but it's convenient. Get in my car, head up back to Saratoga. I should be feeling great. Now here comes the relatability. But I'm sitting in my car going, well, this is interesting. I just spoke to 1,000 people. They all think I'm terrific. But in all honesty, I don't know if I really feel any differently now than I did before I spoke to those 1,000 people. Because what's the real key issue? It doesn't matter if 1,000 people appreciate me. It doesn't matter if 1,000 people appreciate you. That's just icing on the cake. Because at the end of each and every day, the real question is what? You appreciate yourself. And mark my word, if I know I'm projecting one thing and living another, there's no way on God's green earth I can be appreciative of myself because I'm living an internal lie. Oh, I don't like hearing this. No, this isn't fun. It can't be me. How can it be me that's creating this void between the way I want the world to be, the way I want the world to view me as being, and the essence of who I am? I'm doing fine, right? Making some money, driving a nice car, living in a nice house again. How could it be me that's creating this internal void? And if it is me that's creating it, then I got to take a look inside and evaluate, what does that really do, stand for, and believe in? As a father, as a husband, as a community leader. And I don't know if I want to do that, because if I'm really personally honest with myself, I may come across some of those values that I'm projecting to the world that I am, that I know in my heart I have violated. And if I haven't acknowledged that, then I'm going to hold myself what? It's not me. I'm fine. I'm doing everything George and Dorothy would have wanted me to do. So that feels better, but it's still there. But since I concluded now it's not me that's creating this internal havoc, it must be who that's creating it? Everybody else. If you can't relate, let me know. I walk into my house, there's my lovely wife, knowing my 2 wonderful children. I'm not in alignment. How do you think I behave? Kind, loving, good listener, men are from Mars, 5 languages of love? I don't think so. And maybe my lovely wife, all these years, pushes a little button. Now an argument ensues. Now people start screaming. Now the kids get involved. And now I'm loving this. Why? I'm loving it. Because I don't have to deal with who now? Me. I can now point to even my own family and go, say, I knew it all along. I'm not what? Appreciated. And now what can I do? Anything I want. Their fault. Because every time we do that in our own way, we're not moving closer to who we are, we're moving a little bit further away. It perfectly explains when people can have all kinds of stuff and be absolutely miserable. Not fun, but I would give anything to have that awareness when I was 30, 35, 40. It would prevent a lot of heartache, a lot of anger, and a lot of internal unsureness. Questions for life real quick. I know we only have a few minutes left. I wish we had all day together. I really do. So much fun. Yeah. But I just want to cover these with you, and I want you to take, one request I have is to take these home. And again, with family, it's wonderful. The first question is, what would you like to be remembered for? You were honored today, right? You were honored. How wonderful is that? So that right there contributes to a legacy, something we're leaving behind. And it's an important question. It's not that we think about it every day, but you're all waking up every day. You're impacting lives. You're impacting the community. What would you like to leave behind? Is it your humility, your integrity, your honesty, your creativity, your innovation? And in the throes of pondering what you would like to be remembered for, I'd like you to ponder on a role model or a mentor that you've had in your life. Maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a relative. And if you can come up with someone who you feel made an impact in your life, and they're still here, would you let them know? Next week, let them know. Find them. Let them know. It is the most beautiful gift you can give to another human being, is to validate that they had purpose in your life. Now, I share with you, they will treasure. It could be a note, a card, a phone call. Let them know they had an impact on you. When you are validated that you impacted someone out there, tell me it just doesn't uplift you, how it makes you feel, but just think how it will make you feel when you do the gesture as well and acknowledge someone who you truly have admired and you feel kind of helps you on the right track. Great gesture. Why do people follow you? How might that relate to your core values? When I have my exercises, my workshops, I tell people ignore that. Ignore why do people follow you. And I would do this with you if we had the time. I would just say ignore that question and write down for me 3 characteristics of leadership that you believe to be important for a leader to be effective. Everybody writes it down. And then we go around. And then I basically, after they all share what they wrote down as far as 3 characteristics of leadership that they believe to be important for a leader to be effective, I share with them that I just lied to them because I said it didn't have anything to do with you, but what they just did had everything to do with them because they actually answered the question. They wrote down characteristics of leadership that they themselves wish to emulate. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we don't expect from others what we don't expect from ourselves. Take this home. Wouldn't that be cool if I have the 14 or the 16 or the 12-year-old? Write down for me 3 characteristics of leadership you believe to be important for a leader to be effective. What they're going to write down is how they view leadership. Think that might provide some insight to mom and dad, what your kids are thinking? Absolutely. It's a wonderful, wonderful gesture. Or exercise. And the third question is, how do you inspire others? And I'm just going to do something with all of you that might be a little bit wacky. Okay? How do you inspire others? First of all, there's no wrong answer to this. How do you inspire your children? How do you inspire the person you love? How do you inspire the neighbor? Well, we probably can inspire people by encouragement, by financial incentives, by a pat on the back, by autonomy, by being in the trenches with them. There's no wrong answer to this. But I can put every answer under one umbrella. Ladies and gentlemen, the way you inspire the people around you, your children, your significant other, is you make people feel valued. What are we doing each and every day to make people feel valued? From a business perspective, if I walk in and feel like a number rather than a valued human being, I'm less inspired to do a very good job. If I treat my children like numbers rather than valued human beings, I have a feeling I'm less inspired to want to listen to their dad. If I treat Noni like a number rather than a valued human being, I have a feeling she's less inspired to be very supportive of me. So what are we doing on a day-to-day basis to make people feel valued? So here's an exercise I'd like just to I'm going to go to my Mr. Wolf. How many people might know your name and who you are?
Oh, I'm sorry. Rick Wolf.
What, Rick Wolf. And does anybody else know Rick Wolf? Ward? Couple people. So here's my exercise, Pete. Right? I just pulled out Rick by happenstance. Okay? Share with me a characteristic of leadership or Rick's personality that you believe inspires others to look up to him and respect him.
Integrity.
He has integrity.
He's an amazing father.
He's an amazing father.
He's a good listener.
He's a good listener.
I'm glad we came.
There you go. Because I just kind of was random there. Ward, would you pick someone who you think there's a few people they might know them? Oh, you know what? No, right here. Stacy.
Great.
This is perfect. No, this is perfect. Awesome. Thanks for letting me pick that.
Thanks, Lord.
There we go. All right, for those of you who know Stacy, characteristic of leadership or state, this is like a farewell, I love you thing. Share with me a characteristic of leadership or Stacy's personality you believe inspires others to look up to her and respect her.
She's genuine.
She's genuine.
Super supportive.
Super supportive.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Honest.
Honest. Selfless.
Big heart.
A big heart.
Energetic.
Energetic.
Caring.
Good. So, all right, one more. Stacy, pick somebody.
I'm gonna pick, yeah, he doesn't want me to, but I'm gonna pick Dan.
Dan the man,
Yeah. Dan is the executive director.
the Boys and Girls Club. So, for those of you who might know Dan, characteristics of leadership or Dan's personality, he inspires others to look up to him and respect him.
Strong moral compass.
Strong moral compass.
Dedicated.
Dedicated. Committed.
Genuine.
Genuine.
Warm.
Warm. You got a fan here.
Humble. Humble.
Humble. What, nice socks? Oh. So I know that was a little kind of out there, but how fun is that? Look at you all uplifted each other. You just made the three people we picked on, you made them feel what? Valiant. Valiant, take this back. Another fun exercise to do at home. What's wonderful about your brother? He's an idiot. As soon as a sibling generally says something kind about a sibling, then we're more bonded. All right, so I'll just give you this one story and then I'll close. Again, I wish we had all day. I was in Columbus, Ohio, a big hospital chain, and I was there to do several engagements, and they wanted to open up the Wednesday night session to the public. I said, sure. But before I spoke, a nurse introduced me to her two daughters. They were like, oh, I don't know, 12 and 8. So presentation was different then. It's quite a long time ago, but I'll never forget. I had to walk around the mic just like this. And there were about 300 people there. And they're literally sitting kind of right where Lynn is, only maybe 10 yards behind. 10 o'clock position. And I saw them when I got to this little question, and that time was how do you motivate others? I said, I'm going to take a chance here. So I walked over to the younger of the two. I gave her the microphone. I said, would you mind sharing with the audience what's wonderful about your older sister? Folks, no hesitation. She pops right up. She goes, well, she helps with my homework. She protects me in school. She's very kind. She has good manners. She respects my mother and father. She's humble. She's generous. She's really compassionate. And as the younger one is sharing this with all these people, the older sister, who's sitting right in front of me as I'm there in front of both of them, just loses it. It took me 30 seconds, folks, to do that exchange. And I can share with you, they were more bonded as sisters than they were 30 seconds before. Take the time to make people feel valued. Okay? All right, I'm going to close. You've been great. I'm not closing. I'm gonna close. But this has really been so fun for me. And I share this final little story because it's the moral of the story that's more important than the story. Okay? But I share this with you. First of all, I'm humbled, I'm honored to be back home. And again, the spirits are still circling. They really are. They're right over my head. But I get asked a lot that during this journey of 2.5, 3 decades, because we talk about purpose, okay? I get asked a lot, how do you know that this is what you're supposed to do? Were there any clarifying moments during this journey where you knew this is what you're supposed to do and be and how to serve others? And there have been many, but there was one that I'll never forget. And again, the moral of the story is more important than the story. I was in Fairfield, Iowa. The company was an investment firm. I was doing 2 keynotes for them. And prior to speaking, they asked if I would do an interview with their communications team because they want to put stuff in the newsletter. I said, sure. So 2 young ladies, could have been more than in their early 20s, sit me down. They started asking me questions. What's no excuse about? It was before my core books were out. What's no excuse about? What's the content of your message? Where have you traveled? questions that I've always received when I've been interviewed previously. The end of the interview comes. The younger of the two looks at me and says, Jay, before you leave to speak, can I ask you one more question? I said, certainly. She goes, it's kind of personal. I don't know if it would be appropriate. And that pushed me back. No one had ever said that to me before. What do you mean by that? Boxers or briefs? What? I didn't say that. I wasn't going to say that. But I said to her, I've been around a while, and for anything you ask me, it'd be perfectly fine. And Pete remembers this story. And she goes, okay. And she looks at me dead in the eye and she goes, Jay, if your father were alive today, what would you tell him? Well, I didn't see that curveball being thrown. And I'm not usually a loss for words, but I shut down. And I closed up, and what things I hadn't thought about in a while kind of bubbled up, and I'm beginning to sweat, trying to maintain my emotional patience. And what felt like an eternity, maybe it was only 12 seconds, I don't remember. But I took another deep breath, and finally it hit me, and this was the little bit of revelation. I responded to her, and I said, you know what, I wouldn't tell him anything. But I'd ask him everything. What's it like to be a dad? How do you do that? What's it like to be a husband? How do you make that work? What were your core values? What were your passions? What were your mistakes? What were your life lessons? How do you mow the lawn? How do you build a birdhouse? How do you fish? And it was the first time in my entire life I realized, wow, all the questions I never had a chance to ask him as a child, I would ask him as an adult. And then the light bulb turned on, and here is the theme for the presentation. It's on the sheet. And always try to remember this. You teach best in life what you want to learn the most. And it's the first time I knew in my life that my whole life's journey has been a journey to discover all the answers to all the questions I've always wanted to ask Dad. And every time I discover some insight, what brings some happiness, fulfillment, challenge to people's lives, my greatest joy is to share. This is why I'm here with you today. I'm just the messenger. And here's the moral of the story. And I mean this with all my heart. If you have someone in your life that may not be here much longer, please take the time to ask them those questions. What were their core values? What were their passions? What inspired them to wake up every day? What were their mistakes? So when they're no longer here, you won't have to guess what made them tick. And you think the gesture for the mentor will be a memorable one? Well, the dialogue you have with that person when you ask those questions, they will treasure it. You will treasure it. And it's a wonderful, wonderful gesture as well. So I'll leave you with this. Emerson's definition of success, I did presentations for as long as I can remember, but it goes like this. Still my favorite. He goes, to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better with a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Well, you've all done that already. You'll do it 1,000-fold again. I wish you all the safety and blessings and happiness. Have a very, very happy and wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday. Take care of those you love, and God bless each one of you and your families. Thank you for the invite. Because we have a lot of people, I brought books not to sell. Everybody who wants a book can have a book. All right? That's on me, but the only request I have is I want to ask you to make a contribution to the Boys and Girls Club. Woo! All right? So, instead of buying a book, I'll give you one, and you can make a contribution to the Boys and Girls Club. I'm not sure how to do this, but maybe the desk can help out up front. I'll be there if you'd like a book. If not, then don't worry about it. That's okay too. So I just wanted to offer that to all of you. So let me Christmas present.
Great.
Jay Rifenbary. Jay, bless you. Thank you all for being part of this today. Please be back here next month. We've got a great breakfast program with Dr. Donald Christian. Thanks to our sponsor, Health Alliance Hospital. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Please Stop small and win big. Have a great week.
Steve, honor, smile and fun. That's what I'm doing. Yes, I should. Helen's after me all the time.
You were terrific.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I've just been talked into taking your spin class, so. Well, I have to join first. I haven't joined yet, so. Oh, look at you working. I'm